The King's back. 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 The King's back.
What's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to the Actual King Smith. We are here live. What's this? Wednesday, July the 7th. I got things falling around me everywhere. July the 2nd. And we struggle streaming already, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm live. I'm doing the thing. And this is my weekly vlog where I come on to talk about whatever the funk I want to talk about. I used to say Wednesday vlog, but I've got some changes going on. I am going to be streaming from WTF Nation Radio, which I've been doing for the last 2 years. Some of y'all that follow me over here don't necessarily know that I do a weekly live stream sports show on WTF Nation Radio. It was on Sundays for about the last 2 years, and I am moving it to Wednesdays. And with that move, I can no longer do my weekly vlog that I have over here. So I'm going to figure out the direction that I want to have with this weekly vlog going forward. If I may move to like a daily morning thing, which I used to do. I used to do coffee and crypto in the morning and didn't necessarily keep that up, but I might go back to it. I kind of like that morning wake up, get the creativity flowing, and it kind of help get the rest of the day going. So I think I might move back to that, something short and sweet to kind of get the day going. If you're new over here, welcome. I come on and talk about really whatever I want to talk about. And today I'm going to talk about living life while you can. This is a positive message. I like doing positive things. So with that, let's get into it. There was a story that I saw of a young lady that passed away back in April by the name of Quita Cole. She was a restaurant owner. She owned a place called QC Kitchen, which is her initials, Quita Cole Kitchen. And she made this Facebook post about needing to take the next 3 days off because Quita needs some rest. And often, right, I'm somebody that came from the military. And there were times where, you're taught do it for the mission. You're taught make sure that you make the mission happen. And I was in a job that mistakes could have resulted in loss of life. I was an in-flight refueler, which literally means I refueled other airplanes in the air. And if you weren't on your A game, if you were physically exhausted from being deployed in the desert in 100 and something plus temperature, and then having a 12-hour flight on top of a full day, any type of mistake because your body's tired and you can't push through can cause loss of life, not just for yourself, but for others. So there wasn't really room for error. We had to often listen to our body a lot and push through. And it's one of those things that I'm thinking about times where in my mid 20s, now that I'm 40, I'm sitting here like there is no way that I could do the things that I made myself do when I was a lot younger. But in Quita's story, Quita posted this on April the 21st of 2025. And on April the 22nd, she did not wake up. And for some reason, I don't know, just being older, that hit me. So tonight, I'm not here to give y'all a lecture. Those that choose to rock with me and listen. I appreciate you. I'm just here to give that reminder. Because some of y'all are out here living life like y'all got unlimited time. Like tomorrow's guaranteed. Like life is on layaway and you can just cash in later. But in reality, you don't get this life back. This is not Super Mario where you can end and then use a replay and come back in and do it all over again. So think about times where you've wasted days worrying about things. Think about times where you've had chances that you could have done something, but you didn't take it. Think about the people that you lost because you've let pride get in the way. And I talk about dropping people like it's nobody's business, so don't get it twisted. Okay? But you only get this one life. You get one moment to make things work out for you or not work out for you. So I'm going to ask y'all while I'm asking myself, what are you doing with it? Are you truly living or are you just existing? Because in my opinion, there is a difference. Existing is just like living life on autopilot, right? But living, truly living, takes intention. There's a lot of us out here that are stuck doing routines that feel like you're in cages, surrounded by people who don't see you, and held back by fears that you've never really spoke out loud about. So tonight, let's talk about it. Let's talk about those fears. The freedom that you have when you can live like a free agent. I follow Coach Greg Adams. He talks about the free agent lifestyle. And that's not just pertaining to one certain thing. That's pertaining to life in general. When you can truly live in your version of free, life is a whole lot better lived because of that. Let's talk about some of the regrets, the joys, the bucket list things, all of it. Because if nobody has told you today and you've checked into this live stream, I'm here to tell you that you deserve a life that lights you up. But it starts with making that decision while you still can do it. So let's get into it. Let's see if we got any comments here before I go into the first subject. All right. So let's get into the first topic here is what living life really means. Okay. Living life looks different for everybody. It may be peace and solitude for one person, travel and adventure for somebody else. I know a lot of different people and I have a lot of different peers, family members, friends who their version of living life is something that's vastly different for what it means for me. And that's okay. But I'm going to ask y'all, what are you doing to make your soul feel alive? Because like I said earlier, living isn't about staying busy. It's about being intentional with this time that we do have. All right. I find it interesting that and I can probably say that I'm guilty of this as well. The way that social media is used to highlight and share a story of a lot of positive things. People rarely share their fails or their missteps on social media. I try to share those missteps when I have missteps, but I take risks, but they're measured risks, and some of those risks, um, with the way that I manage risk, have allowed me to succeed more than fail. For example, I had a CompTIA Network Plus exam that I was scheduled to take about 2 weekends ago, and I ended up canceling it because I told myself that I did not prepare and study well enough to be able to succeed and pass that exam on the first try. I felt it, I knew it, and I rarely do that. The last exam that I took that I passed, I put about 40 plus hours in, got my studying in, and I passed that exam on the first try for one of the certifications that I have. If you check my LinkedIn, your boy got the certs. Got my undergraduate degree, got my graduate degree. I don't really lead with that stuff, but I've got that. Got a lot of knowledge up here that I really don't share with a lot of people sometimes, but that's what this platform is for. Okay. So I'm curious to y'all, what does fulfilling life look like to you? Think about that one. I'm going to share my screen here and let me figure out how to press the button. There we go. And talk about Miss Quita Cole here. I'm going to put this up on the screen so y'all can see who it is that I'm talking about. Quita Cole was a restaurant owner, and she died after making that social media post in which people said that she was working 7 days a week, putting in hours, right? So she wasn't an employee. She was a restaurant owner. And anybody that owns their own business, a lot of folks will tell you that you put in work as an entrepreneur, as an owner. I'm not an entrepreneur. You can kind of say that some of the stuff that I do is entrepreneurial-ish, right? I'm looking at building up some of my social media stuff and things that I've got going on. But what pays the bills for me right now is my normal 9 to 5. I am an clock in, check in employee. And if you go to my LinkedIn, you can see exactly what I do. I don't hide what I do. I enjoy the job that I have and the impact that it has on the people that it impacts. I am also a benefiter of the job that I do. But this person right here, Quita Cole, owned her own restaurant, is responsible for a lot of different things. It's her job and her responsibility to also make sure that people get paid on time. That's a huge thing. If you've ever been somebody that have had to pay somebody, you know what that responsibility looks like. I've never been there. I've never been in a position where I'm having to write checks out to people. But because I have an MBA, I understand what that means. I've had several sit downs and talked to other business owners who have had to pay other people, right? But if you take a look here, she wrote this post on April 1st of 2021. I'm taking the next 3 days off. Quita needs some rest, talking about herself. And then she passed away the next morning or into that night going into that next morning. Okay? A lot of people commented on her page talking about how awesome she is, how great she was. There wasn't anybody that left a bad remark on her page, which guess would be tacky if somebody did. But the outpouring of support that she had, to me, spoke to the type of person that she was. And when you're somebody that's in the community and you're well beloved, you get that support. One of my biggest supporters that I also support as well is Chef B. Chef B owns a restaurant, B. Anderson's, here in Maryland. And she's had one opportunity after another, one headache after another as well, being a business owner, having to have things like she's responsible for with paying rent at certain locations, and then the owner of a place doing some things that's really where she had to make a business decision to shut down for a while and change locations. But in the process of doing that, because she's been in the community, the outpouring of support that people had when she opened up her new place was there. B. Anderson also doesn't operate 7 days a week. There's likely a reason for that. She doesn't want to end up like this young lady right here, where she's working herself to the bones. You've got to have that time to take some rest and things like that as well. So I wanted to showcase that. Because that's going to be what really drives the rest of my message here going forward. Because looking at this next point, people think that, they've got all the time in the world to take care of things, right? There's always next year. Or when I get this raise, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to take that trip that I've been planning. I got my passport, but I ain't used it in 2 months. Or, man, once my kid grows up, I'm going to go out here and do this. No. Think about Quita Cole. Think about this veteran that was shared on WTF Nation Radio, in which she was in her 40s, received a cancer diagnosis, and cancer won, leaving behind a young daughter. Or the Army veteran that I ended up meeting later in life, who was my friend's father, who received the diagnosis of ALS, and it hit him very aggressively. And in under 5 years, gone. Right? You think that just because you're able to go to sleep, wake up the next day, time after time, that you just got all the time in the world. I'm telling you right now, you don't. It's a very common phrase. Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. I want to say, don't put off tomorrow what your spirit is starving for today. That thing that you're just yearning to do, go do it. You've never been to Vegas? Go to Vegas. What's holding you up? Oh man, the way that my money is set up, I could probably go through your income and expenses with a fine-tooth comb over the last 6 months and be able to tell you where you could have made that Vegas trip if you made different decisions over those past 6 months. I'm going to Japan next week. For roughly 2 weeks or so. And this has been something that's been planned long in the works for a very long time. And after I got divorced at the end of 2019, going into 2020, I ain't have a whole lot of money to do nothing. I did take one trip, and I don't talk about it that much, but I took one trip out the country, and I had a blast. And I was broke, and I mean straight up broke, but I made it happen. And that trip was good for my soul. So if there's a will, there's a way. Again, there's an illusion of time that makes people think that they have all day to be able to do something, or I got to wait until this happens. No, you don't. Make a plan, execute that plan. When a speed bump happens, just drive right over that motherfucker. Try not to cuss. You don't have a lot of time. You think you do, you don't. Let's see if we got any comments before I go to the next thing. This looks like spam, so I'm going to go to the next topic here. And that's the difference in living versus existing, right? What's existing? Existing is waking up, going to work, checking boxes, numbing out. I ain't trying to do that. Living means feeling all the things, risking, laughing, failing. There's nothing wrong with failing as long as you learn from it. If you keep failing and keep failing and keep failing, but you don't learn or grow from it, you're doing things wrong. Here's some signs that you know that you're just existing. You dread every morning. You wake up and you go, ugh. Or if you come home and you go, ugh. because you're coming home to a not so nice situation. In those cases, you're just existing. You feel like your days just blend together. You don't remember the last time that you were excited about doing something. That's existing. And that's a bad way to live. That's a bad way to live, especially when you've experienced those things in which I call you're actually living life. So think about this. When was the last time that you truly felt alive? I've been fortunate. Once I kind of woke up out of a bad funk, and I used to call it funk, but it was depression. I'm going to say that word out loud. Depression. I was depressed. I didn't know what to call it. I just said, oh, I'm in a funk, but I'll get over it. I needed some help. I got the help. Turned things around several years ago, and I've been living since then. And it's been amazing. So don't just exist, live. And if you can't think about the last time that you truly felt alive, you've taken risks, you've just gone out with your friends and laughed, then you're just existing, and you need to take intentional steps to change that. I can tell you right now, one thing, well, King, what is this? What is something that I could do to live? If you're the type of person that you'd rather do things solo, take a solo trip. And it don't even have to be like grab your passport and just go somewhere. Take a solo trip and do something different. Go and experience a place that you have never experienced before. There's likely places within a 3-hour radius of where you live that you've never experienced before. Just go. Get in your car, make sure it's got gas in it, and just go. That's one example. That's a quick example. If you are somebody that you would like to be in the mix with people, go to www.meetup.com, I believe. I think it's .com. It could be .org, whatever. Just Google Meetup. It's an app. And there's a lot of different groups and experiences of people that are just trying to get together and connect. A good connection of mine, Mr. Smalls, put together a Father's Day event in which we had a lot of young and older people come together and do Top Golf down in Baltimore, Maryland. One of my good friends that I played ball with drove about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, two and some change to come to that event on a rainy day. And when he got done, he was like, man, I needed this just to get out and be amongst other professional people. He said, I needed this. That's living. To go 2 hours one way or just over 2 hours in the downpour just to politic with some folks, that's living. Think about fears and fears that hold you back, right? Some common fears are fear of failure. I can raise my hand. I've had that. Fear of success. I've had that too. Fear of what people will think. That was my biggest thing. That's one of the ones right there that if you could get over the fear of what people think, you can succeed in whatever you do. Kev on stage is a highly successful, at least in my eyes, highly successful comedian who started out as an entrepreneur doing like church plays and things like that. He's made his bones in stand-up comedy, and he's been able to leverage social media and use that social media as a springboard for a lot of things that's going well in his life. He's created an app. That app failed, but he did it. He's been able to create a community of supporters. He's been able to travel, probably places that he wouldn't have thought to go to, and places around the U.S. and the world with his lovely family, all because he didn't care what people think. He put out this video, and it's funny because in some of his most inspirational videos where he talks about stop caring what other people think, And in this one video, he talked about how you won't be successful if you don't put your content out, especially if you're somebody that's looking at doing social media content. I don't have a large following, right? But if I cared, oh man, like I don't want somebody to come on and see that there's not that many people watching, because then they'll think that I don't have the juice. Who cares? I've had somebody write me an email to my email, TheActualKingSmith.com, and told me that one of the things that I talked about helped turn things around for them. And this person wrote me from Australia. I live in the United States. I personally don't know anybody from Australia. So to have somebody that happened to catch my YouTube video and say that what I told them hit a nail to them and it helped them turn things around, that meant a lot. Kev on stage said, don't be afraid of worrying about what other people are going to think. Oh, I can't put this video out there because I don't want to look crazy. Oh, I don't want to do this thing because I don't want people that I care about or that, that's related to me to think differently because I'm out here doing this. And okay, I'm going to tell you right now. Just like Kev on stage said, the people that you're going to want to watch your stuff, they aren't going to watch you. They aren't going to support you. Now what? Now that you know this, now what? Another common fear is, fear of being alone. I've never understood that one. I know that there are some introverted people out there that are like, man, that's not a fear. That is heaven. Some people have a fear of starting over. I'm in a position right now that I don't know if my job is going to be keeping me employed past this year. It is what it is. It is a fact, right? And I've been doing this since 2013. So I've got some years in. I will legit have to start over if I end up getting my position ripped, which is a reduction in force. Okay? But I can tell you this. Fear is loud. Fear will sit there with you. But regret's a permanent thing. I had the ability to play Division I football and did not. That is my only regret in my lifetime, was that I didn't get past my own fears and I made some decisions, things that if I could go back in time, I would do some things different, and that's one of them. Football is one of those sports that it is a young man's game. Also, to be able to play Division I football is another thing. Not that many people have the opportunity to do that. And then on top of that, the opportunity that I had was an opportunity to play Division I football and earn a degree as well, and possibly a commission in the military. I chose a different route. That is my only regret in life. So let me ask y'all, what fear has stopped you from moving forward? Speak that out loud. Put that down in the comment section. Put a voice to it. And then make a decision to overcome it. Don't let fear hold you back. Because I'm curious too, to my next point. What would you do if you weren't afraid? Okay? This is where some of those dreams and things start to get real. If your fear disappeared today, what would you do right after? Would you start a business? Would you create a YouTube channel? Would you create a podcast? Oh, I have all these things that I'm thinking about, but I ain't got the right equipment. Nobody's going to listen to me. Would you leave a toxic relationship? That's one of the ones, man, it's some things that I see that are very common among a lot of people. And a lot of times what's holding people back are just really bad relationships. You have an opportunity to move across the country, but it's in a different region. And here in the US, right, if you live in the South is different from like Boston, 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 however they say it, or Chicago, or Baltimore, Maryland, which Maryland is not the South. I don't care what nobody says. It's below the Mason-Dixon line, King. I don't care. Culturally, it is not like the South. It is not like Alabama and Georgia. So y'all can go on somewhere with that. So you live in Texas and you've known Texas all your whole life, but you get a promotion opportunity and it's in Japan and you've never been overseas before. Do you let that fear stop you from getting that promotion and experiencing a different culture in another place? Well, I've never lived overseas before. I don't know if I'm going to have a support system. I don't speak the language. You're not living. You're not living. So I want y'all to drop one thing that you would do if fear was not in your way. Put it down in the comment section. That's what we're doing today. I want you to think about, if you don't have that thought now, think about that small step that you could take today to actually go out and live. The next point to highlight here is the power of yes and the protections of the word no. Here are some things right here that you could and you should say yes to. Say yes to opportunities. Say yes to rest. Say yes to pleasure. And say yes to purpose. I'm going to say that again. Say yes to opportunities. I've been doing WTF Nation Radio for about 2.5 years, and I wasn't necessarily sure it was something that I wanted to do. But the person that talked me into it has talked me into it, and it has opened up some doors for a couple of other things that I'm very happy that I said yes to. Say yes to rest. My body's telling me I need to rest. Sit your ass down and take that rest. Say yes to pleasure. You got an opportunity to take vacation or something, spend the money. Oh, I know it's going to cost me X amount of dollars to do X, Y, and Z. You got it. Spend it. Grab you a pedicure, manicure, and a spa day while you're at it. Oh, I don't know. I don't want nobody touching my feet like that. There was recently a group of people who I know, it was a mixed gender, right? But a lot of the men that were in that group went to this spa day and had never had a pedicure and a manicure before. I go get my nails done pedicure-wise anyway. Not so much. I'm sorry. Manny. Manny's the hands, right? Yeah, pedicure. I get my feet done like once a month. I should have it done a little bit more than that because my dogs be barking. But let me tell you, that's besides the point. Say yes to pleasure. I've never had a manicure before or pedicure before because I don't know. I don't need nobody seeing my feet like that. That's fear. That is fear. A majority of the men that went and had those pedicures came out of that was like, why haven't I done this more? And some of them, they go get them. They schedule more pedicures now because it's self-care. It is saying yes to pleasure. There's nothing wrong with that. And I also said, say yes to purpose. Understand what your purpose is. Live in that. Do it. Life is more fulfilling when you understand what your purpose is. Here's some things to say no to. Say no to people pleasing. Say no to obligations that doesn't align with what your purpose is. Easy. Well, King, that's easier said than done. No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm telling you it's not. You want to say yes because you want to please everybody around you. Or sometimes you feel as though you're obligated. That's my spouse. You should say no to your spouse at times. That's okay. That is okay. If they respect you, they will understand that boundary and understand that no. And if they don't respect you and they don't understand that boundary, maybe that person shouldn't be your spouse. I'm saying the things that people don't say out loud. Think about that. Every time that you say yes to something that you don't want, you're saying no to something that you do. All right? I'm going to say that again. Every time you say yes to something you don't want, You're saying no to something that you do. Think about that one. Boundaries in itself are a form of self-respect, and you don't need to allow people in your life that's going to walk over those boundaries or bulldoze their way into them. And that's really all I have to say on that. My final point that I'm going to bring up here is this: living fully doesn't mean living loud. Not everybody wants the spotlight. Sometimes living fully means being at peace in the quiet. You don't have to post something to prove it. I've gotten times where I am going to say this out loud, and I feel bad doing it too. I support my friends and family members in various ways. I have family members that have written books. I've bought their books. I've had uh, friends and peers and people who I know that are leading seminars and doing things, and they'll tell you, I'll pull up. I will pull up to support what you got going on, right? And give myself a lot. And I don't do it to expect anything back. I like seeing people live or take that risk and write that book. I wish I had it upstairs. I have a cousin who I've never met. I'm going to say her name, Lauren Smith, because she has a book on Amazon. I'm going to see if I can bring that up real quick. Hold on. Let's see if I can bring up Lauren's book here and post it. My girlfriend has written a couple of books. How do I look at my orders? So because I just got Lauren's book. I told her that I'm gonna need her to sign it. I've never known that Lauren existed until fairly recently when I did a 23andMe and I connected with her on social media here. But where's her book at? Man, I ordered it on Amazon. Why is it not showing up? Amazon. Where are my orders at? Here it is. Here it is. I got it. All right. Let me not share all these details here. Oh, well, I said her last name. She writes under a different last name, but under her social media, she has her regular name. But I'm gonna share my screen. She don't know I'm talking about her. Again, this is a cousin I've never met, but she wrote this book here called The Healed Soul: Transform Your Pain into Your Power. It's on paperback under the name Lauren Audrey. All right, and it says here, what if your deepest wounds were actually the doorway to your greatest power? The Healed Soul: Transform Your Pain into Power is a heartfelt guide to emotional and spiritual healing for women who are ready to break generational patterns and reclaim their wholeness. Okay, so that's her. That's what it's about, and that's her target audience. And most of the people that watch my stuff are guys. But if you are a woman watching this, I'd recommend buying it. I bought it to support her. I'm going to check it out here. And it says, with unflinching honesty, poetic insight, and divine wisdom, Lauren S. takes you on a journey through the hidden layers of trauma, abandonment, grief, betrayal, abuse, and neglect. It gently leads you towards restoration. Each chapter is more than a lesson. It's a mirror, a balm, and a breakthrough. The book will help you do all of these points listed here. So go check it out. Let me see if I can put the link here. Share, copy link. Link is copied. You see right here, I ain't BSing. I ordered this on June 23rd. It came in a couple of days later. If you're interested in buying it, link is going in the comment section and post it. All right. So that right there is an example of somebody who I know that got out. They did something and they decided to make things happen, right? They didn't let fear stop them from writing that book. Living loud, living fully doesn't mean living loud. You can choose to honor a simple life, right? Having those family dinners, journaling, go walking barefoot in grass from time to time. Somebody told me about that and I thought it was foo-foo. But there's actually something too, I think it's called grounding, right? Grounding yourself. You can still be low key and legendary at the same time. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, in my own mind, I'm the ish. And can't nobody tell me otherwise. That's how I feel about myself. I am the ish. And nobody can tell me otherwise. But King, you ain't over 6 feet tall. But King, you aren't a millionaire. But King, whatever. I'm still the shit. But that's how I've built my mindset. Anyway, that's my live stream for today. I'm gonna go to a different platform or a date and time in the near future. I'm likely gonna go live next Tuesday in the evening after I come back from watching Superman. My weekly vlog more than likely is gonna go to Tuesday nights now. And I might have just kind of a morning King's coffee thoughts or something. I don't know. I have a lot of things on this big brain of mine that I just want to give off. All right. So if you've made it this far, thank you. Comment below if you have a fear that's holding you back. Speak it out loud and let that thing go. I'm the actual King Smith. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. Peace.